Run the floor, and then half-court D. Utah State sliced and diced them in the first game in half-court. Utah State, they want to control the tempo, not allow them to run. And then they need to make baskets and shoot off or be confident offensively. They only made 14 field goals last Saturday.
Coming off that disastrous performance against UT Arlington, 61-46. Season low points, you mentioned it. They only made 14 shots in the entire game and shot 30%. Jumper is off the mark. Butterfield comes up with a rebound, something he is very good at. Here's Davis, penetrates. Picked off by Texas State. It's Reed Cannon. And then Butterfield able to get it back for the Aggies.
A good job by Butterfield staying with that as Cannon just kind of went to dish the outlet, and Butterfield jumped the outlet pass.
Clifford for three. Back iron, Butterfield again challenges and comes up with it. Boy, what a difference he makes. Davis overlooked at a three, and it's good by Marcel Davis, the freshman from American Fork.
When Utah State's been good this year, it's when they've been able to control the offensive glass, Michael. Right there, they get a big offensive rebound off the turnover coming from Texas State. Clifford unable to connect. That three-pointer just hasn't been able to fall for Clifford.
Clifford shooting just 21% from three-point range. Gene able to take this one away, so a couple of turnovers already. Davis. Texas State gets back defensively. Clifford back outside to Gene. Deep three for him, and it's good. So a couple of made threes early for the Aggies.
I've always said good things happen when the ball goes inside, and I thought that was a great little two-man game.
Gene 1 for 3 on Saturday against UT Arlington.
You know, the reason that Jordan Stone, right here at the center of your screen, gets the start tonight, I think it's got to be defensively. Right here, I thought he had all ball. Here he goes up against Cannon, and he got his hand on the ball. Maybe they thought he got him with the lower body. Maybe slid underneath him and knocked him off kilter a little bit as Cannon went to the rim hard, going for the flush. But Stone stepped up and bodied Joel Wright on that first offensive possession. Didn't let him dribble around him. Forced him into taking about a 19-foot jump shot. I think that's the shot that Coach Morrill wants to see Joel Wright take. I mean, he does shoot 33% from downtown. But this is a guy you kind of want to force him outside the paint a little.
Working on Butterfield.
Well, he looked over and smiled, and I don't know if he has a mouthpiece in or not, but there was a lot of blood on his teeth. And I don't know if we can pick that up, but he must have got hit right in the jaw. His lips are pretty red. He might have taken an elbow on that last rebound.
Bothered by a chronic sore hip, and it aggravated against Louisiana Tech last Thursday. Guys just tough and gritty. Getting this one out, starting here tonight. After missing just one game, boy, the team really missed his offensive production.
Well, you know, you lose the offensive production, but emotionally, that gets on you, and mentally. You know, all of a sudden, we're without our best scorer, our best rebounder the last couple of games. How are we going to react? How are we going to respond? And they were just in a lull. But right now, you can tell they're playing much better with him on the floor, and they're being patient. Now, granted, they're at home. They've been able to sleep in their own beds and get rested up for this ball game.
Butterfield nearly turned it over, but Gene able to battle back for it. Keeps possession for Utah State. Davis on a drive. Lost it going up. I'm going to say Texas State basketball.
I thought it might have went off Joel Wright as Davis is trying to do a little slice and dice action to get into use that athleticism to get into the paint.
Tonight's officials, Larry Spalding, Rick Randall, and Darren George. Their staff really struggled in that first meeting against Utah State. Only 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting. Here's Wright. Ball hit underneath the backboard. Turnover Texas State.
You talk about Jordan Stone defensively, Michael. He beat him to the baseline. He forced him. Use that baseline as a defender. For all you post guys, you got to force them to the baseline. Use that as a defender. He gets too low. What does he do? He turns it over. The other time he forced him into a bad shot, he had the block on Cannon, which I thought was a pretty good block. So out of the gate, Jordan Stone's playing excellent defense.
Certainly been coming on as of late. Speaking of Jordan Stone, outstanding contest against BYU as Butterfield knocks down his first shot.
Yeah, he's limping. He's limping. You see the cringe. After Butterfield came out that, he's kind of limping a little on that hip. And he's got to be careful. Every time he comes down and lands with 2 feet on that court, that's a hard jolt to that hip.
You can see blood around his mouth, too. Just a tough guy, no question about it.
Oh, just the toughness, the grittiness of him. I mean, he's playing on a bad hip. He got hit in the face, and he's just out there working for rebounds and trying to create shots.
Up ahead to Stone, too far underneath. Here comes Wright. Hawkins in the lane. Oh, tough shot. Clifford battles, but Wright is there, unable to get it to go down. Point blank as Butterfield comes up with it and then draws the foul against Matt Staff.
Boy, great looking shot, an offensive rebound coming from Joel Wright. But boy, you can't get that one to go, and who's there? Butterfield. He's got tremendous timing on rebounds. He times the ball so well, and he made that rebound look easy because he was able to time it off the rim and get his jump time so nobody else could go get it over him. I mean, he's 6'2" out there rebounding over the tall timber.
Butterfield looks like a boxer out there, switching that blood around in his mouth, trying to get it out. Mike Williams is working on him. Look at that. It just got to admire his
21
his heart.
21 in the blue corner.
Yeah.
He's going to come back out for round 2.
Aggie basketball leading by 6. Still early goings. It's WAC matchup. It's just the second meeting all time between Utah State and Texas State. Here's Stone inside, able to draw the foul. Of course, next year, Texas State will be going to the Sun Belt, and the Aggies will be heading to the Mountain West Conference. So this might be the last time they play in quite a while.
I don't see them scheduling this in the near future, but you never know. I love that last play to get the little down screen with the pick and roll action from Marcel. He's been able to, ever since that Idaho game on the road, him and Jared Shaw had that work to perfection, and Marcel played fantastic, got some open looks going to the rim. And you see right there, it wasn't quite there with Stone, but he stayed with it. They switched the screen, mismatch, and Stone steps up, gets the foul, and makes the 2 free throws. I'm telling you, he's playing so much better the second half of this season. He has the opportunity to develop into a pretty good post player here for Stu Morrow.
Just a 57% free throw shooter, as you mentioned, knocked down both shots. 10-2, Aggies early.
Now 57 on the season, but you take the last 8 games, and he's about a 65 to 70% free throw shooter. Been much better. That BYU game, he had some big free throws.
Wesley Davis, corner 3 off the mark, had a tremendous game the first time that Texas State and Utah State met up in San Marcos. Had a career high 22 points on 10 of 12 shooting. This time he turns it over, so he misses the shot and then walks with it. Break in the action, we'll take it with them. 15:33 left to play in the first half. Utah State by 8. Utah State Aggies. Our next telecast will be Saturday, March 9th when UTSA comes to town. Our coverage begins at 7 p.m. Watch the Utah State Aggies on KMYU, My Utah TV. See the Roadrunners Saturday at 7.
You take a look at these stats, Michael. The only points that Texas State's got in this game are from the free throw line. 0 for 5 from the field in that first 4 minutes of this basketball game.
The second top scoring team in the WAC. They averaged 70 points a game. Coming off that loss to Idaho, they scored 81. It's a team that is typically difficult to contend with offensively. Led by Joel Wright, Staff, and several others, but so far they're shooting cold here tonight in the Spectrum. We get Marcel Davis on an illegal screen.
Boy, that was the best that I've seen Utah State run through a half-court offensive set in about 5 games. They worked the ball around the perimeter. It went into the post, worked around. Unfortunately, they get the offensive foul on the illegal screen, but you're seeing them play so much better than they did a week ago when Butterfield went down at Louisiana Tech.
Turnover situation, 4-2. Wright. And he walks with it. So another turnover. 5 turnovers now by Texas State.
I love the length of Shaw that he brings to the game, and he's just such a very polished post player. He's got a great all-around game. But you see how Wright immediately tried to go at Shaw and said, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to duck my head, I'm going to get to the lane. Now he traveled, where he wasn't able to do that on Jordan Stone because of Jordan Stone's sheer body size.
Neil Rowland misses on the 3. Made 3 of them last time out against UT Arlington. One and done. Here's Wright inside. Shaw going against him, and first field goal of the night by Texas State. First two for Joel Wright, two-time WAC Conference Player of the Week.
Boy, he's tough. He's tough. You see, he got that ball deep in the paint, and he gets you guessing he's going over the right shoulder, and he swings back over that left shoulder. Great little play.
Coach Morrill called him a premier player. Shot, beautiful move, able to hit on the reverse layup.
Wright just fell down. He's lucky he didn't get landed on. He kind of shielded his hands over his face.
Deep three by Staff, doesn't go. Shaw with the rebound. And then he throws it right to Davis. Offensive foul, so Shaw making a mistake, atoning for it, able to get the ball back for the Aggies.
Okay, you get the turnover and you force it, so he's par. He's even right now. And you look at the facial expression on Stu Morrill's face. Yeah, his feet are there. He's outside the circle. Nice heads-up play. You know, and all Davis had to do was dish it off to Joel Wright for the flush. A little selfishness held the ball.
(12-4). Aggies on top. That's their home record, incidentally. Texas State was 4-7 on the road. Shaw lost it. Foul's going to be called on the Bobcats.
Well, you know, this is the part of Shaw's game that's really developed this year from the start of the season till now. Is his back to the basket. It seemed like defensively teams could get that knee into his hip and into his back end and really push him out of the paint. But right there, he did a great job of backing the defender down. Now, he lost the ball because he put it on the floor a little too much, but he got deep enough in the paint that he forced the foul on the defender. I like that part of his game. Against Idaho, their second game in Moscow, that's where he really was good. Got that back to the basket, deep in the paint, had a couple dunks, really got going offensively.
Rowland, he too played 40 minutes on Saturday against UT Arlington. Clifford, here's Shaw. He's got that range. So now Shaw with 4 points.
Texas State, the Bobcats, they're in the zone. They're defensively, and Utah State's got to work that ball around the perimeter, swing it side to side, get the ball to the short corner down to the baseline, into the high post, and it really opens it up.
Utah State by 10. We approach 12.5 to play, first half. Three ball. Hit the top of the clock by Deontay Jones, the junior out of Charleston, Missouri.
Yeah, Jones had the open look. Unfortunately, they're just not shooting a very high percentage of the Bobcats right now. But see how well they worked the ball around that perimeter on the zone right there. Offensively, that was a good possession. Just couldn't get the ball to fall.
Texas State shooting just 12% so far for the game. Just that one made field goal by Wright in the Cannon 2 free throws. It's been all the scoring for Texas State.
Utah State, or excuse me, Texas State's back in man defensively.
Butterfield for three. Clifford able to keep it alive. Back to Clifford, corner three, it's good! Ben Clifford, the sophomore from South Jordan, Utah, connects.
I'm going to mark that down as a hustle point for Ben. I mean, the Tin Man got out there, gets the offensive rebound, then spots up in the corner where he's deadly. We know he can shoot it. He hasn't done so well this year at 21%, but he's a big guy that's got the range, and hopefully he can find that down the stretch and make a run in this conference tournament next week.
He was 5 of 24, part of that last make. Trying to save it was Texas State, but it goes right to the Aggies. Clifford back to Gene, already with 1-3. That one off the mark. Gene hustles after it, ball still free. And now Texas State able to control. Staff, pull up. Jumper is good. The second made field goal by Texas State. Matt Staff, the senior out of Houston, Texas, a transfer from New Mexico.
Yeah, the former Lobo, running the floor, getting the 15-foot jumper to fall. That's what they do. They run the floor, and they get points in transition. And that's their first point in transition tonight.
Coming off a solid performance as Butterfield misses on the three.
You know, he's out there clear. He's out there playing hard, Butterfield is, and getting tons of rebounds and defensively making his presence known, especially on the glass. But offensively, that hip's got to bother him shooting. You know, every time you're going to shoot, you see the little wince in his eye, little grip of pain.
10:48 remaining. Aggies leading 17-6 over Texas State. 17-6, Texas State shooting just 22% on 2 of 9 shooting, and Ben Clifford reining in a 3. Utah State 3 of 8 so far from downtown.
Yeah, I think the key to, or the main focal point in the first almost 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes of this ball game has been the abysmal shooting by Texas State. 22%. Only 6 points in the game, only 2 made field goals.
And 7 turnovers. Utah State, I think, very active. I mean, they're not shooting a great percentage at 46%, but they've been active. Second chance opportunities, and they've paid some of those off. Here's Davis in the lane, lost it. Stone able to pick it up. Butterfield able to make good on the layup.
Boy, how did he get down the floor? How fast was he? From one point to the other, so fast down the floor. Able to go up and finish that one strong with the hip injury. He's doing Butterfield things right now. Rebounding, assisting, running the floor, making his presence known.
Jumper off the mark by Davis. Butterfield incidentally 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Rowland. Butterfield, another rebound. Deflected by Von Jones. Checking into the game for Texas State. Rowland back to Butterfield. Here's Shaw with 4 points. Knocked away. Good defense by Cannon.
Cannon had active hands. Shaw kind of cupped the ball in his left hand, wanting to spin back right. And that's where Cannon just active hands, snuck that left hand in there, knocked it loose. Get the turnover.
Shall be guilty of the foul, his first. And that charge earlier in the half. Texas State basketball, 9.5 to play. 19-6. Cannon, front iron, and Butterfield another rebound.
He had to box Shaw out for that rebound. Somebody needs to tell them they're on the same team. Talk about grittiness. And he's boxing his own teammates out.
And Gene makes a long 2, they say. The official said foot was on the line. Does have a made 3 earlier tonight.
Boy, somehow Gene's got that left-handed jump shot going. It's like a frozen rope. I mean, that thing's got
no arch to it at all.
Yeah, it's got an arch of about 5 degrees.
Jones. Dorsey gives it up now, gets it back. Cannon way off. He has struggled shooting, and Butterfield another rebound. He is hobbling up court.
Yeah, he's wincing a little. You can tell he's hurting.
Shaw drives the double, puts it up, left it short. Jones with the rebound.
Shaw was patient that time, but what I'd like to see him keep that ball chinned. They're coming at you.
Oh, what a block! Marvin Jean.
Wow. Talk about blockage. Are you kidding me? Marvin Jean just jumped out of the gym and put this one right back in his face. Wow, that's a big block coming from Marvin Jean. I was talking about with Shaw that last possession. Here's another look. That's a straight palm. All ball. I mean, there's pure daylight, complete body separation. Shaw took that ball and put it down low, where it's so much harder to go up and finish and gives the defense a better opportunity to grab that ball. And as soon as he catches it, you see Texas State come double it. Keep that ball chinned right up high about your chin. You're 6'11", big fella. Then you can go score that one.
There's Stone as he had a look at the shooting percentages in his first half. Here's Staff. Dorsey, oh, there was some contact. Gene will be called for the foul. It was a 2-point attempt by Ray Dorsey, the freshman out of Louisville, Texas. 7:58 remaining in the first half. It has been all Utah State. Aggies on top, 21-6 over the Bobcats of Texas State. We'll be back to Logan after this. Sub of the game, a regular starter, Jared Shaw.
4 points in the early going, plus 1 rebound. How about this little action from about 18 feet? He's got a tremendous jump shot when he's straight on, and Jared Shaw playing good off the bench. A bench that's, I don't know if depleted's the word. What's one worse than depleted? They keep losing guys. You look down there now, and Butterfield's got an ice pack and a towel dipping off the mouth. He's still bleeding, wincing.
Shaw, prior to tonight, had started all 28 games. This is the first time he's coming off the bench this season.
This is the first time where they haven't had one guy start every single game. Shaw had started every single game this season. He was the only player to do so. So they can now wipe that off the bucket list. Start every player.
24-8, Aggies on top with possession. Davis, Clifford. And Clifford, a couple of made field goals.
You credit that shot right there to Marcel Davis. Looks like the official's going to do something. I don't know what they're checking. I don't know if the clock started. Something happened where staff just grabbed the ball and started walking. I didn't hear a whistle.
We have had clock issues every TV game we've had. Doug Davalos, of course, his dad was a Texas State guard and actually won the 1960 NAIA National Championship with Texas State. Clifford with the block. Jones gets it. Teardrop doesn't fall. Rowan comes up with it. Aggies looking to push. Jean was fouled and will head to the free throw line for a couple of shots.
Boy, did the Aggies come to play defensively tonight? First you get the block by Jean where he just palms the ball against the backboard and sends it back down with the offensive guy. Now you've got Clifford, the undersized post guy, going up against a more athletic Joel Wright, able to come over on some help side D and swat that one. Great deep post defense. Here's another look. Watch Clifford just come over. Oh, got a good look at the rebound with Tanil Rollins. See the boxing out? You know, it's been so good by Utah State. Boxing out, letting the ball hit the floor, and it allows the guards to come in and get the rebound. Our producer, Trevor, he talked to me about this. He's like, hey, the reason that these guards like Butterfield and remember Jared Cole, they rebound so well, it's because the bigs box out, and they allow those guards to get in there and snatch that rebound.
Basil Brown is checked in for Texas State. Davis able to take it away from Wright. Marcel around the Stone screen. Front iron Stone with the rebound, can't control. Brown on the floor, looking for help. Able to find it.
Stone lost his footing on that offensive rebound. Looked like somebody got under him and shoved a little. Kind of fell out from underneath himself.
Right inside, blocked again by Ben Clifford. 3-ball, back iron. Butterfield battles for it, and he comes up with it.
Are you kidding me? He's going to have 10 rebounds in the first half on a broken hip.
Clifford gets in the lane. Oh, nice pass inside to Stone. And Jordan Stone will go to the free throw line. Ben Clifford, we've talked about it. We appreciate his play. He hasn't put up good offensive numbers, but he plays hard and he plays it the right way.
Well, he holds the team together, and he's especially stepped up and held the post together. He's got energy. He plays hard. And that's the thing that Coach Morrill's talked about is you always know what you're going to get with Ben Clifford. He's going to come out, and he's going to work so hard, and he's going to play his little tail off for you. And take a look at this. Just patient, going up against Joel Wright. Maybe a little push out with the left hand, create some space. A nice little dip-down pass. Post passing to Stone, and Stone got to go up and just dunk that one. It'd be a lot easier.
Because of all the injuries with Utah State, Ben Clifford is actually the most experienced Aggie, active Aggie playing. He's playing in his 65th game. Just a sophomore out of South Jordan, Utah. 26-8. First meeting in San Marcos was pretty close in that first half, and then Aggies tore it up in the second half, able to win going away. As a whistle and a foul on the drive.
You know, I thought Stone was in good defensive position, but he got caught with his hands. He put his hands on Staff. He didn't need to. He's so big and long, just stretch the arms out and beat him to the baseline. He's played some pretty good minutes defensively. If he could capitalize, couple miscues on the offensive end. He's 3 for 4 from the foul line, to his credit.
Talked about it. He's been shooting much better the second part of the season than certainly the first. He was pretty much a guy that you can count on to split the trips. Starting to make more of them here as of late. Staff lost it against Clifford, got it back. There's Brown. Jones lost it. Jean battles for it. Tracked down by Brown. Staff was calling for it. Brown taking it right at Butterfield. And you get Spencer with the foul.
Butterfield, pretty good position defensively. Might have took that elbow a little bit and pushed it into the defender. That's what the official saw. Boy, what a good defensive stand. Great defensive stand. Forced him deep into the shot clock. Fortunately, they come up with the foul. They're getting out and playing D right now.
Basil Brown, 6'5", 195 sophomore forward out of Dallas, Texas. Last game against Idaho, 4 minutes, and committed 1 personal foul. On the season, averages about 1 point. Able to get that with that made free throw, 26-9.
Texas State, they want to bring the pressure. They want to see how Marcel Davis will handle that pressure in the backcourt. But that's what I assume Utah State's going to see in the conference tournament and from teams they play from here on out is a lot of pressure, on-ball, full-court pressure stuff.
Davis lost the dribble. Brown picks it up. Called for a carry. Basil Brown.
It looked like Brown, you could tell, he kind of took that ball over his right hand and just kind of cupped it when he was trying to do a little stutter step, jab step move on Butterfield on that far side.
And Phil Hawkins thought there was going to be some kind of a trap.
Yeah, he's motioning for his teammate to come up. You can hear it here in the loud spectrum, trying to get his teammate out.
Wanted Deontay Jones to come up. It didn't happen. Butterfield. Contested shot, doesn't matter. Spencer Butterfield able to knock down the deuce. He now has 6 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists.
I thought that ball was going to be blocked, but for some odd reason, he's got a tremendous high release point from the elbow there. Fantastic play. How about Marcel Davis defensively? Getting back down in the strip before that ball gets into the post. He's there to knock it loose.
Yeah, going back to that Butterfield jumper, you're right. Texas State, great contest. Look at the field goal percentages. Now, Utah State, they're coming off a game where they shot just 30%. Look at this contest.
Boy, I thought that ball was blocked, or going to be. From our angle, it looked like it might be blocked, but he's got that high release point. Kind of fading away, shoots high. He is a tough player, hard-nosed. Everything you want in a basketball player, you're getting out of Spencer Butterfield.
Talked about it, Utah State recruited him out of high school, and then it came down to it. They didn't have a spot for him. They wanted him to go to the JC ranks. He wasn't really fired up about that, but had a good experience in the JCs, and then came to Utah State. And Mai has his role changed this season from coming off the bench, now being one of their leading guys as Davis turns it over to Staff. Staff trying to run the break at 6'10", 235.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Coach wants, is your big fella. Running the break. You could tell he's trying to get a little fancy, and that's not what he's used to doing, and toss that one right out of bounds. But Marcel Davis has got to take care of the ball. He's trying to throw the ball right into the teeth of the defense, and that's what this press is designing you to do. Their athletes down at the other end of the floor to go get those cross-court passes.
Approaching 4 minutes. Rowland thought about the three. Davis. There's Butterfield. Pull up three, well shy. Offensive rebound by Clifford. Then he turns it over. On to pass out to Butterfield. Texas State steps in front. Corey Stern on the drive, able to draw the foul.
He cupped that ball. The crowd wanted to travel. But boy, he was headed hard. He drew the foul.
The junior out of Seattle, Washington will be at the line when you come back. 28-9 at 10:37 on KMYU. See all the highlights and sports action from tonight on Utah's only nightly sports show. Check out Talkin' Sports tonight on KMYU, My Utah TV. You got the stat sheet here, Brooks. A few numbers pop out. I see you marked up your stat sheet.
Boy, you look at Texas State on 12 turnovers. Utah State capitalized 7 times on those 12 turnovers with 14 points. And then I think a big stat is Utah State's got 10 assists. They're sharing the ball. They're doing a great job in that half-court offense, running their offense and getting shots and assisting. You mentioned it. You said my bold prediction is they'll probably have more assists in the first half of this ball game than they had in the all game last Saturday against Arlington. And they had 7 against Arlington, 10 in the first half tonight. That's credit to how these guys have responded.
A good bounce back performance, no question about Utah State. Stu got after them, disappointed in their production, and they have responded here tonight so far. Butterfield to Davis. Clifford gives it back to Davis. Difficult shot. Clifford able to keep it alive to Butterfield. Shot clock does not reset, down to 5. Butterfield pulls the trigger and hits again. He is having a marvelous game. 8 points to go with 9 rebounds and 3 assists.
He needs a basket and a rebound for a double-double in the first half. That's a big game for anybody, but a big game for somebody that got his job out ripped off and he's bleeding out the mouth and playing on a half-broken hip. My goodness.
Davis, the teardrop doesn't go, and Butterfield collects his 10th rebound. Remember, he went through that stretch where he had 5 consecutive double-doubles. Davis to Shaw. You call an offensive foul on Marcel Davis. Out of control going in the lane.
That's 2 fouls on Marcel. He's probably going to come out. They can't afford to get him into foul trouble. That was great penetration coming from Marcel. Sometimes the jump stop works really good right there.
Look at that. 10 assists on 11 made field goals. They had 7 assists on Saturday, as you pointed out, for 14 made field goals. That's it. Have a chance to equal that here in the first half against the Bobcats. Staff continues his cold shooting against Utah State. Remember that first meeting, just 1 for 9. And he's coming off a 22-point performance in the loss to Idaho. Butterfield down the lane. Shaw right there for the tip-in.
Butterfield wanted the goaltend. He was close. That ball should have counted on the goaltend. But he got another rebound. He's got 11 boards in the first half. At 6'2".
Stern. Awkward looking shot. Shaw with the rebound. Rowland. Inside 2 minutes to play first half. Away from the basketball. Foul going to be on Utah State. Jean ticketed with the foul.
Well, Marvin Jean was over here. I think they read it wrong. I think that foul was on Jared Shaw. Jean was away from the ball on this far side.
And they just made the correction over the PA.
Illegal screen on Shaw is what they're saying. I've seen 3 of those tonight with Utah State. To me, you can't afford to get in foul trouble, but that's a good sign because you're setting good hard screens. You're being the aggressor. You're not letting them push you away and out of your offensive sets. You're going there, your feet are set, and you're setting hard screens.
Last time Texas State hit a field goal, 11-19. We're at 1.5 to play now in this first half. They have gone cold. Cannon. That one's off the mark. Jean looking to run. Lopez is back. Jean out of control. Clifford keeps it alive. Back to Rowland. Jean open look at a 3. Doesn't go. Butterfield tracks it down. Third chance here for Utah State.
He was limping the whole way down the floor that last possession. And somehow he turned on the afterburners to grab that one. Unbelievable performance we're seeing out of Spencer Butterfield.
Lopez pivots in the lane and goes glass. Matt Lopez, the sophomore, his first 2 tonight.
A nice little confidence boost for Matt. Great little position. Stops
the end of 12 consecutive misses And Corey Stern, the junior from Seattle, Washington, hits the free throw line. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Leads the team in field goal percentage. As Brown checks into the ball game, Stern, last outing against Idaho, 12 minutes, 9 points, 3 rebounds, and he fouled out. Texas State had 3 guys that fouled out against Idaho.
See if they can work a basket to Butterfield, see if he can go into the locker room with a double-double. I'd love to see him come off a down screen. Maybe put him in a position to take his defender off the dribble. They're going to work some clock right down to about 10 seconds before they try and go for a shot.
Utah State bodes really well when they lead at the break. Jean misses everything. Up ahead to Brown. Brown with 2 seconds. Able to get the bounce. And that's how the first half comes to an end. A dominant first half for the Aggies.
Wow, they came out and played with some aggression. I mentioned they were the ones initiating contact. They weren't shying away and trying to, shy down to that contact. They initiated the contact in this first half. You can't say enough about Butterfield and the way that he's playing right now.
Amazing performance, 8 points and 12 rebounds for Spencer Butterfield. Aggies leading 34-15.